Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope everyone is doing well. Let me just turn this off so I can focus. I hope everyone's doing well. I was literally washing dishes and I just felt the universe tell me to come on and tell my healing story because I think so many people, again, when you're like a practitioner and you've been doing healing for a really long time, most people kind of look at you like you don't have your own stuff that you've been dealing with, or that you, I don't know, that you're like this perfect specimen that doesn't have any problems or anything like that. So I thought I would just come on in my completely authentic Sunday self and just chat and tell you about kind of what started me into the world of holistic healing, because it's a story, it's a journey. It's to me, it's like a never-ending journey too. It's one of ups and downs. It's one of honestly being the most real I've ever been in my entire life. I was just telling a couple of my friends over the week, because there's just been so much energy shifting in my life. I'm not sure if any of you feel that way, but I certainly do. And it's been great though. So I'm kind of like excited. I feel this like death of my old self coming into my new, but I will tell you the last, gosh, like 15 years of my life have been a huge roller coaster for me. Letting people, come in and out of my life, both friendships, relationships, clients, etc. And I'm just kind of enjoying the flow. And I'm a person of like used to and try like slowly feel this like energy of like control that I always used to feel like I needed to have. And I'm kind of just starting to just embrace the flow and realizing that like divine timing and I'm exactly where I need to be, and I need to stop putting stress on myself. So I thought I would just start out by talking about, obviously you all know, if you haven't followed me, my name is Matt. I have been in the holistic world for a decade and maybe a little more than a decade. And it's been a wild ride, and it's something that I kind of just fell into it. I think a lot of people in the holistic world just kind of fall into it because of their own healing crisis and things like that. So when I was like 20, I want to say like 21, 22, I went to work for Disney, and I was a prince there for a really long time, about 5 years. And I always had suffered from like these just regular body aches and pains, not sleeping great, back pain like crazy, all of it, like just like this underlying feeling of back pain and just like feeling like my body just doesn't work, right? And I feel that unfortunately, like the modern medical world has sort of pushed us into like, nope, your body doesn't work. And it couldn't be more opposite of the truth, right? So when I was 25, my dad passed away suddenly. And that is sort of what was the catalyst for me to kind of step into a whole new world of healing. And it sort of, like I didn't realize what was going to happen in my life, but I definitely feel like I am on my complete destiny. I feel like I'm in my purpose and my passion, and I love learning more, and I love doing what I do. But the underlying reason of why I even started On Your Health, which has evolved over time in the past 10 years, because my dad has been gone for 10 years this coming February. And what I have learned is literally the power of letting go, the power of being present, the power of your body wanting to heal, the power of your mind, and the power that food and unfortunately our toxic food that we have on this planet, but at least in this country. So around the age of 25, I had stopped working for Disney because it was very hard for me to work there, because it was my dad's favorite place and everything just reminded me of him. So I had to sort of take a huge step back and that's kind of where my healing journey started, was like truly started, was around that time, maybe a little bit before, but I was a huge into exercise, huge into, all these modalities of movement and things like that. So I obviously was a trainer. I got a lot into that like realm of like the physicality of the body. And then I went to a guy, he was a chiropractor actually here in the Philadelphia area. And he just like, I went to him because he was, you know, highly recommended by, I actually, you know what? He wasn't recommended. I had like Googled it. I was just like, natural ways to heal your body, because I was just tired of doctors telling me that I was crazy, that I didn't have anything wrong with me, that they didn't see anything wrong with my back, that they didn't see anything wrong with anything. They just said it was all in my head. And I was like, no, that's not true. So I was like, okay, there's got to be another way. So I went to this guy and he gave me like a herbal supplement, and within like a day and a half, my back pain was gone. And I was like, wow, that was really fast. And then I just thought to myself, like, okay, if that happened like that, then there's got to be something more to this, right? So I had asked him like where he studied, because I was really interested and I really wanted to just learn. And he like was very resistant to tell me and didn't really give me an answer. So I was just like, clearly this guy is like trying to not give me, which I think is just kind of a little screwed up, but it is what it is. You know, some people get a little defensive on like, I don't want you to learn this because I don't want you to like, it's just a little bit of a lack scarcity mindset that, you know, we all have to work through at some point in our lives. I know I did. So I had this underlying back pain. And so I just started to like try to heal myself in a lot of different ways, massage. I actually started to enter into the myofascial space, which is all about, you know, the webbing around your body. And, you know, the people don't realize that the fascial webbing is the tissue that is the connective tissue that sort of holds a lot of trauma. And I went to several classes to learn the method and saw huge results with it. And that's sort of, again, what propelled me to the next level of my healing journey, right? Which was basically saying, there's more to the body. There's more to this whole process than just physical, right? It's emotional, it's traumatic, like it's letting go. It's really enjoying the present moment, things like that. And that's sort of what fascia taught me. Fast forward though, so that I was in the fascia world, and I really started to push that in my practice for a long time because I just started to see the power in it. And so did a lot of my clients. And when I started doing it more and I started getting it done more, I started to feel this like total, like felt like my body was like shedding old stuff, just felt that completely. And finding myself moving on from like this being an actor and doing all these things. And the more I like let go of that old person, that old like being an actor and like projecting my own stuff and not dealing with my like deeper rooted emotions that I didn't know were holding me back, my mindsets, the things that I kept telling myself, the self-doubt, the getting in my own way, things like that I just did not realize were causing me so much pain and anguish and anger and all these things. The death of my father was huge in terms of letting go of, you know, he had a time and a place in my life and he'll never leave me, in terms of just like, he's always by my side. And it just propelled me into this, you're always being protected, Matt. Don't worry, right? Stop worrying so much. So when I started getting into muscle testing and started getting into a lot of this work that I do now with nutrition and like truly letting the body heal and getting the toxic load off the body and supporting the body properly, I started to realize that, you know, because I still suffered after I went to that guy and he gave me all these herbs for my back. What had started as just like merely back pain, which was actually, he found candida in my gut and things like that, actually evolved into like years and years of research and evolved into years of realizing, okay, the body really wants to open on levels, right? And it opens in phases. And from what I've seen in my own body, but from also what I've seen in clients as well, your body opens in phases, and it could be a quick phase or it could be a slow phase. And I don't think that's again not talked about in the medical world, right? It's not talked about in the sense of you know, because we're used to this like quick fix mentality. We're used to and sometimes you will feel quick fix with like herbs and things like that. But you're not going to feel the side effects of a drug. So I guess so when I started to feel my lower back pain come back, I was like, okay, there's got to be more here. So I started to study muscle testing. I started to study these things to get deeper. And man, like the thing that I've realized in the past, gosh, I mean, sure, the past 6 months, but really over the past like almost 8 years of being in this world is the moment you try to control the body or the moment you try to resist letting go of what was is the moment you get stuck. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people in our world right now is everyone's just trying to be right. And I've realized the more I stop trying to be right and the more I just listen to the body tells everything. And from emotional trauma to physical trauma, and I actually do think that a lot of people use exercise. Again, I'm not downing exercise, but I do think a lot of people use exercise to deflect their emotional side because they don't want to actually sit with themselves for a second and realize there's more to this than just being physical. We've been pushed for a very long time that everything is about moving and exercising and killing yourself and being very hard on your body. And sometimes your body needs the opposite. Sometimes it just needs rest. Like guys, the past like week, I have been sleeping almost 13 hours a day because I could just feel my body just saying like, you need to rest. A lot is happening. We are letting go of old mindsets, old hits, old stories that, you know, you've been plugged into for a really long time. And I have just been finding myself going, stop, just let go, stop worrying about this. It's not important. You're going to be somebody new and you need to be okay with being somebody new. Right. So, over the past, like, I would say 2 years, I've really seen myself and my body getting healthier and healthier, but it's because I just let my body do what it needs to do. I don't normalize pain. I don't normalize, these like intense feelings of control. I'm like, okay, I'm sitting in control for a reason. I'm sitting in this control space because I am scared of letting go of my old self, right? And I think that when you are so used to the story that you've been telling yourself, you're a victim, you're a minority, you're whatever the case may be, right? Like you really don't understand until you start to go, okay, go back into the flow. And like I've been going in and out of that for the past couple of years of for a couple months, I'll be in total control and things will sort of stay stagnant. And then I'm like, why did you lose that? You're trying too hard. And then I go into this space of just like, let things happen. It's so much easier when you just let things happen. And it's funny because I have clients that come in and like when they first start, they're like, I just need help me. And they're at that point of like, whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. And then when they start to learn, they start to go back into that space of control. And I'm like, are you ready to let go yet? And a lot of them are like, not yet. And I'm like, okay, because your body's not going to move forward and it's not going to get truly healthy until you start to truly let go of your old mindset, of that victim, self-sabotaging mindset. And that's something that, again, I'm with you. I was a self-sabotager and I used to fall into that a lot. But I realized that the reason why we do that is because we're just so scared of what really letting go and just like not being a victim means, right? And what that means is you're moving on to something higher. Your body doesn't want to live in fear, doesn't want to live in fight or flight, doesn't want to live in this chaos and this drama all the time. But we are so afraid of that, of not being that, because it's normal. And when you normalize chaos, when you normalize drama, when you normalize not feeling good, when you normalize not being grateful, not being happy in life, like all these things are a choice, right? Pardon me. All these things are a choice. So when you make the decision to be happy, when you make the decision, pardon me. I know I just clenched my throat with coffee, but that's fine. Ooh, I'm getting hoarse. What is the universe giving there? Yikes. There we go. We're back to normal. So now I don't even know what I was saying, but my point is that when you start to let go of the victim's mindset, because I see it all the time when people start to get healthy and then they kind of go, I don't like that because I'm feeling good. And again, we're not used to feeling good. We're used to feeling like crap. We're used to feeling like we're always used to trying to search for reasons why our bodies don't work. We're always looking for reasons to feel the pains and things like that because we're used to that stuff. We're used to the to the idea and to that mentality of that lower back pain is normal, and we're going to keep normalizing it because it's a way for us to complain. It's a way for us to be the victim. It's a way for us to you just keep the story going, right? So I try to tell my clients all the time, and like I tell myself and even my family, like, stop speaking out the negative, right? Start to speak out, I am healthy, not I want to be healthy. I am that now, because you don't realize that your body is full of energy. And when you start to speak out the positive in the present moment, not in the future, in the present, we have a subconscious. And the more you brainwash yourself, because a lot of the conditions that we've had, I mean, you can listen to people like Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, who have I listened to? Evan Carmichael. There's so many people on YouTube that you can listen to just to help you realize, like, we are in a state of programming, right? Our body is programmed because of our parents, because of our mentors in the past, because of the media, because of the pharma world, all these things. Like, we are being pushed that your body doesn't work, that you suck, that you're negative, that you're a victim and you always will be, that you can't heal, that your body can't heal, and it's all bullshit. Pardon my French, but it's all bullshit, right? Like, your body can, you get in the way because you think you know better. And I'm telling you right now, the more I stop trying to figure it out and the more I just let my body sing, I get more intuitive with, this feels like more of a brain thing, as like, I think I'm overthinking a lot of things here, or I go out of the state of being in flow and I go back into control because I think I know better. And it's funny because the moment that I just go, God, universe, like, I don't, just help, I don't know what I'm doing, I think a lot of people are afraid of asking for help because it means that they're weak. Asking for help is not a weakness, it's a strength, because it's that deep down that you don't know it all. And I think the biggest problem is that in our world today, especially in America, everyone wants to be the first one to know. Stop, because it doesn't work, right? It's just, it continues to add to that level of drama, that level of stress, that you think you know it all. And I'm going to tell you right now, when I have people in my life that think they know it all, I go ahead, you know everything, so go ahead, right? And I just like watch from the sidelines because I know it doesn't work, right? I know that level of control, that level of being in that know-it-all state is, one, extremely toxic, but it's also, two, it's holding you back from living an amazing life because you don't realize it. But like, again, stress, I posted this on our Facebook the other day, that stress and cortisol and all those things, like a low level of stress or like having a stressful moment and then coming out of it quickly, it is really important. And you still want to have stress. Like, stress isn't going anywhere. The problem is that we have normalized like such a high amount of stress that most people can't come out of it quickly enough. And then their bodies start to get old and degenerate because it's not used to that. Like, back in the days of like our ancestors, like running from a tiger was the biggest stress that they had. But then they were like, okay, now I'm good. Now I'm calm. No more drama. Now you have the media, you have your phone, you have your business, you have your kids, you have your family, you have the environmental toxins, you have the emotional people, like it just doesn't stop. So you're always just like on the go, running. So it makes sense that people are just like constantly never stopping and can't. And then they're like, I'm not stressed. And I'm like, you are, but it's okay. Just admit it. Like, I'm not here to judge you about it. I'm just here to say, you're in a state of stress. It's all good. And I didn't realize, and the reason why I bring that up is because I didn't realize how stressed I was. And a lot of that can be lower back issues. And then a lot of that, because what happened for me is that what started for me as lower back pain became severe constipation, which basically was, without going to a doctor, was basically, now that I look back on my own history, was basically Crohn's, was basically IBD, probably, and like all those like diseases that people say. But it was more that, like, again, those things can be reversed and those things can be balanced to have a great life, right? And I realized a lot of my stuff was parasitic. A lot of it was bacterial, negative, like bad bacterial overgrowth, candida, fungal issues, things like that. But a lot of it was stress, guys. Like, And it wasn't like, it was, yes, adrenaline stress, but it was also just like brain stress. And even now I was like talking to my assistant and I was like, I think that this like next level is brain. I think we need to look at my brain a little bit because I feel like there's something tying to my gut and this stress of the last little bit of like, the distress that I have in my gut feels more like an anxiety type of thing of like letting go. I'm about to go into a new space in my life, and I feel like there's just something that I need to be supporting my brain with because it's going to be intense, right? So, but my point is like I went from just thinking about my back pain to now seeing like, oh my gosh, like at first it was all adrenals, and now I had to focus for a minute on my kidney, and then I had to focus on my gut, and then I had to focus, now I'm focusing on my brain, and now like it just evolves. And I think that if we can realize that your body is a system as opposed to like all these separate organs that, you know, need help, I think you're going to start to realize that the more you let go and stop trying to figure it out, and you just let the body talk, and let somebody who knows how to listen to the body just do what it needs to do, it's going to be so much easier. And then you're not going to be in this like constant fight or flight, right? So I say all of that because I think it's just crucial to show you and help you realize like what I had as back pain, and even headaches, because I had a lot of headaches back then too. But what I've realized, a lot of these things are just like, they aren't going to be, you're not going to be able to heal them and get to that next level until you're ready for it. So a lot of times people want to push their body to like the next level. And I almost always say like, I'm not going to push your body to any further than it's in this moment ready to go. Because one, your body's always changing, but two, your body is constantly in a state of getting hit with things, right? Exposed to, you know, different immune challenges. You're eating different things. You're being exposed to different things in the environment because we live on a toxic planet, unfortunately. So I say all of that because I just think it's, again, important to discuss and to tell you that like my healing journey started at back pain, and showed me a lot about my history and a lot about like, wow, like, yeah, I had to let go of a lot of things in that history, and I'm nowhere near done, but it gets easier. My intuition and what my body is telling me gets easier because I'm like, that's a different symptom. That's something I've never experienced. Like, for example, I had a lot of knee pain for about 6 months, and what my body wasn't ready to handle it, and it just wasn't ready to go there yet because I had other things to work on, right? And I think a lot of people think, oh, knee pain, it's the knee, and it's almost never the actual thing, right? Like if you have a knee pain or a back pain or whatever, it's almost never like that area or that location. It's almost always a referred pain, and it's almost always something that can absolutely be remedied, but we can't, if you push things too quickly, it can rebel against us and go into what's called a healing crisis, where your body starts to kind of go, F you, I'm not ready to go there yet. But because you did, now I'm going to show you even more. And that's when you kind of get more symptoms, or you get sick, or, your body kind of starts to go a little like haywire, right? So all of that to say, this is why we do what we do. And this is why I believe so strongly in like being in the moment and just listening to yourself and taking time for yourself and journaling and gratitude and all these things, because all of them matter, right? Like being physical matters, exercising matters, being mindful, being aware, taking care of yourself, taking your supplements, eating well, going and doing like saunas or massages or fascial work or things like all of these things matter at the end of the day. It's just like we need to realize that we've been sort of conditioned into nonstop, into go, go, go all of the time, right? And that's where we get trapped. So all of that to say, going back to my story of where I started from back pain, right? It's now because I don't have back pain anymore, and it just came back oddly enough the other day, and I was like, that's weird. And my adrenals were fine, but then like all these other things started to show up, and I was like, wow. And then I started to realize like, oh yeah, my gosh, I've had back cramping. I've had these like muscle cramps oddly enough for the past like couple of years. But again, I normalized it and not even thinking that I was. And then slowly when my body started to show kidney work and needing to like really balance those out, that's when I started to go, oh my gosh, it was gone within like a week. The back pain that I had was gone. And it's funny because when I start to heal those things in myself, I start to see these things in other people, or I'll be helping someone and I'm like, ooh, how come I haven't looked at that in my own self? Because that actually resonates with me, right? So it's funny because I don't think people don't realize that like our energy, like when you're trying to heal and I'm trying to heal and, we're working together as a team, like people don't realize that when you start to like really work with people and you really are intuitive and your body starts to just go, hey, look at that for yourself. Or, hey, you feel this in you, check that on that person over there because they may need a little bit of attention there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's opening up my own mind to let go, stop trying to control everything and just be present. And I think that that's the biggest thing that I'm learning right now is like flow. Let go, stop trying so hard. The whole like grit and try hard and work your butt off and blah, 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 like it just doesn't work anymore. And I don't know if anybody else feels like this, but that's how I've been feeling. I've just been feeling this massive shift to like, remember how you always tell yourself, Matt, that like every time that you let go, you're like, oh my God, why haven't I been doing this? Because it's so exhausting. Like all the energy export that you're putting out is just like, why have I been doing this to myself? That's sort of where I'm at right now. And I'm like, it's just so nice to just go, whatever happens, happens. And the universe and God always take care of me. They always have, they always will. Right. So I don't know if that helps you. I hope it does. But the point of what I'm trying to tell you of my own healing journey and of where I've gone and what I continue to grow into and learn is your body wants to heal. And it opens and heals in levels and in phases like an onion, right? Layers, just keep pulling back the layers. Like it's funny, the other day, I had a client come in early in the morning, like 7 o'clock in the morning, and we were working on some stuff with her and a lot of good discoveries. And then she felt great leaving. And then she went to go play pickleball with some of her friends and she got hit and she suffers from like a lot of, in the past, like she's had a concussion. She suffered from a lot of like headaches or dizzy spells or things like that. And she hasn't had one of those in like months. So she had texted me and said, hey, I just got hit in the head with a pickleball. And again, anything for her was triggering it. So like she could hit her head on anything or get hit in one way. And it would just like create this like dizziness or this headache feeling. And so she came in and sure enough, like her body was blocked in this, what we call blocked, which is like your body is not in a state of healing. And she was blocked in a different way than we had never tested it in this way. And when I tested her, a lot of brain stuff started coming up because there's a lot of things that, the body says, like it could be nutritional, but it could also be like you need just brain support. And sure enough, we found out that a lot of it was tying to like her being a little depressed and the anxiety that she has had and just things that have happened in her life that have led her to this point. And she was like, oh my gosh, all this makes sense. And I'm like, your body, again, like think about this, you guys, 7 o'clock in the morning, her body was in one place. And then I think it was at 11 o'clock, her body was in a completely different place. That just shows you, right? It's so eye-opening that like early in the morning, you're good. And then something happens to you and it's like the body just reacts and it goes in a tailspin. And it just, again, proves the point that it is a level and like those things happen to you for a reason. Like if she hadn't had that and I wasn't working with her at the time, like if she hadn't had that happen to her, she probably would have just been like, this is normal. So I'm just going to live like this. I'm going to take the Advil and make things worse and blah, blah, blah. Instead, she instantly was like, I need help. What's going on? And within a day, got her back to feeling better and feeling normal and headaches were gone and, things like that. So I say all of that because I don't think people realize just how much our bodies take on. And you don't realize the stressors, like the mental stressors, the physical stressors, the emotional stressors. Like the more you let go and you start to like look at your life or you start to look at past things that have hurt you or angers or emotional like instabilities that have held you back, and you start to address those because your body is finally like your nervous system. I always talk about like nervous system regulation. Like if your body in the past has been used to drama and chaos, and you don't deal with that, and you don't look at like, oh yeah, I'm a very dramatic person. Like I know I was very dramatic, very chaotic. I always lived in a state of like feeling like I needed to prove myself, or feeling like I needed to be something that I'm not, or be a version of myself to different people. And I finally, like probably in the past year, especially, I've just started to go, I don't really care anymore. Like if you don't like me, it's all good. I like me. You know what I mean? So it really came down to like, the more I started to shed the opinions of others on my life, and everything just started to shift. It's been hard because I still revert, like my body still wants to revert back to that. But then I tell myself like, no, you're moving forward, and this is normal, and this is what's right. Like this is where I feel like myself, my body, my mind, my soul, my spirit are literally saying, the moments that you go into self-doubt, that's just the old mindset trying to creep back in, right? The old mindset trying to take over. And I'm not gonna lie, like there are moments where I'm like, I sit in that and I go a little negative for a minute, and then I'm like, stop. Like I have to literally consciously say, stop. That's your old self trying to like creep in and like stay and attach itself back to you. And I have to consciously like sit down and journal, or sit down and just read a book, and get away from technology, and get away from like all the opinions, and just go, what is my body telling me in this moment? And in this moment, it's telling me it's okay. We're moving forward, and it's a little scary. And I'm going to stop trying to judge myself, or I'm going to stop trying to control it. And I'm just going to let go. And hey, Michelle, good morning. I'm going to stop trying so hard to control my life, and I'm just going to let my life kind of happen, because it's so exciting when you just let go. Like every time that I let go of my life, I can like think back, even like I was telling a friend of mine, like last year, I was getting such an influx of people in my office, because I was just like in a space of, I'm just here to help. I love what I'm doing, and I'm super passionate about it. And but then like, again, when you get bigger, your brain starts to go into all these different like, oh my gosh, I have to hire this person. I have to, like, it just starts to get inundated with all these like tasks that kind of kind of make you revert back to being in control and all these things. And I've kind of gotten to this point where I'm like, this is so not silly, because I don't want to, I'm not downing it, but like, it just made me realize like, damn, Matt, like you have worked so hard. Are you tired of working hard? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of am. Right. So it's just interesting when you start to really let go, and you start to really allow yourself the grace and the space to feel that stuff, and not be afraid to go, no, it's not that it's bad. It's literally just like, you're learning about yourself. You're learning like that doesn't work anymore. Like the working hard and the constant like need to like get people, or find new, like it's just like, let things flow, right? And I'm reading this book, which I think you all should. Oh, you know what? Let me get it so I can show you. Hold, please. So I'm reading this book, and it's called U Squared. I highly recommend it. It is all about quantum leaps, and it's very short read. It's a very quick read. It's about, let me see, I think it's like 30 pages or something. 36 pages, guys. I highly recommend it. I've already like been writing notes, and everything in the margins and stuff, because it's just one of those things where, and this is actually the catalyst for like one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video, is because I just felt the universe tell me to tell my story a little bit. And I think we're always so used to like producing and creating and being on the go and all these things, that like this literally talks about like, stop trying so hard, right? It literally says, like, one of the first, like, it says these like love, like these awesome things, like think beyond, like it says ignore conventional approaches, which is like completely me. I'm like, hi, that's me, welcome, right? So it's just fun to like quit trying harder. And like, guys, if there's been a theme in my life in the past like 3 months, it's been like, try harder, Matt, do more. And I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm exhausted by trying harder, right? It's just exhausting. So Yeah, I don't know. This is just this one too, like change your personal rules for success. I actually sat with this one for a minute because it was like only like a page. And I sat with this one for a minute and I actually started to write down like what are my beliefs around around success? Like what is it? Is it a certain amount of money? Is it a certain amount of clients? Is it like what is it that like I can transcend and kind of let go of this mindset of like, oh, if I have this many people, that makes me successful. Because what if I have 50? What if I had 70? What if I had 200? Like when you let go and you start to realize like all your belief systems around, oh gosh, it's just another wake up call just hit me. It's like, whew, when you just let yourself and let God and the universe just like give you more than you ever wanted, it's because you stopped trying. Like, yes, it's good to have goals. Yes, it's good to like aspire to things, but like it's also important to just like stop, like let go, stop trying to like figure it out all the time. Stop trying to like, I don't know, like get ahead of it. Like just let things happen. Like, and again, if you're intuitive and when you start to clean your body, you begin to get really intuitive and you begin to see things in a different light, and you start to like really enjoy life as it is versus trying to force something or trying to again, whenever people talk about manifestation or putting things out there, I always tell people like, great, put it out there, but then stop thinking about it. And I don't hold on me. Like I have had moments in my life where I manifest and all I can do is think about it. And the biggest thing that I know is like, think about it, put it out there, and then let go. Just like let things happen for you versus, it has to happen in this way. And if it doesn't happen in this way, because what's that? That's control, right? It needs to happen in this way. And if it doesn't happen by this way at this time, then I failed. And it's like, again, what are your quit trying harder, but then change your personal rules for success. Like success is success, period. Like you're growing, that's successful, right? Like stop putting these rules and these boundaries and these hard set lines and limitations on your successes. Because a lot of times when you say like, let's say you want to make $20,000 in a month, don't put, I want to make $20,000 in a month and then say in this way, by this, like timelines are great, but it's also like, you don't realize how much of a limitation you're putting on yourself. Even finding someone to love or, finding an amazing house, like put it out there, but then like, don't put such a harsh timeline on. I think it's great to have timelines, but don't put such a harsh timeline, because what happens if it happens before that? What happens if it happens a little bit after that? Like let things flow more, right? And the more that I let things flow in my life, and the more I let even like with my body and my healing journey and things like that, the less I get frustrated with things, because I realize like, because we, again, like I said, healing journey is an up and down, it's a flow, right? Same thing like anything else. The more you try to control your healing process, the more you try to figure it out, you're going to get very frustrated very quickly. You're going to get annoyed. You're going to stop trusting. You're going to go into self-doubt. And then you're going to be pissed, because that's what happens. You get really, because again, not everything is quick. Some things happen quickly, but some things take time, right? Some things take a couple months, couple years, right? So just realize that the frustration that you're feeling is real, but the reason why you're frustrated is because, again, it's probably because you're trying to control it, or it's probably because it's been such an underlying chronic problem for you. Like that's what happened with me. I had a lower back pain, constipation, all these things that were so severely underlying, and I can't expect things to happen guys, I'm like you too. I want things to happen quickly sometimes, and they don't. And then I have moments of it being like, oh my God, relief, there it is. So that to me shows me like my body, one, wants to work, but then two, hey man, like this has been such a long time, like give it a rest, like give it some time to heal, like don't do the stupid things that cause you to go backwards. And the more I sink into that and I let that stuff kind of happen, the more I realize like I'm going to be okay. And I also think too, just like going to end this really, to end this for you, I think a lot of a healing journey comes from trust, not only trusting yourself, but trusting in others. And I think that our society anymore lacks trust because we're so afraid of, again, giving up any sense of control. We're so afraid of not being right or having all the answers. And guys, the biggest thing in life is learning. It's the lessons. It's the ability to go, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. And it's that in that ability and in that space that you can start to realize, like, again, you're trying too hard. If you're going backwards in life, I believe strongly it's because you're trying too hard, and the universe is trying to push you further and push you more into your future, but you're trying to control something. So it's just try not to revert back to old ways, right? Like if you're a client of mine and you're watching this, try not to revert back to old habits and old ways and old sets of thinking, because when you first came, the first thing I said was, do you trust me, or do you trust the process? And you said, yeah, I'm at my ground zero and I need help. Go back to that. Go back to that space of letting go and just trusting the process, because the more you trust the process, it's going to be less frustrating, because you're going to realize, oh my gosh, my body works, but it just, here's a new level. It's all good. So I hope this helped. I hope you are inspired at all by my story, because again, like, the healing process is not quick. It's not easy. It's work. It's not a destination. It really is a journey. The healing process takes time. The healing process is it's never ending. And that's the exciting part about healing, is that there's always something to work on. There's always something to explore, to investigate, right? Like that's the biggest thing I love about my job, is like, I'm constantly investigating. I'm constantly learning new herbs that are helping people. I'm using new technologies that are helping people. Like, there's so much that is coming out. There's so much that we're being exposed to now that is going to change the whole world, which is amazing, and it should be exciting for you. And yeah, so just remember to let go, stop trying so hard, change what you think of successful, and read this book if you can. Again, short read, highly recommend it. And yeah, guys, quantum, we're like heading into quantum leaping. We're heading into a world where we don't need to work so hard and try so hard and get in our own way and control everything. We're really in a place now of, it's normal to be happy in life. It's normal to not live in chaos, not live in drama, not live in, constant war with ourselves and war. Because I actually really fully believe that everything that's happening internally is a mere reflection of everything that's happening externally. So all these wars is because a lot of people are having a war with inside themselves. They don't know who they are, or they haven't done the work, or they're so afraid to take that leap of faith into healing and truly, like, taking themselves seriously for a minute. So if there's something I can tell you, it's start doing that work, that inner work of healing on yourself and loving on yourself, because it's the best work that you're ever going to do. All right. So hope you all have an amazing Sunday and amazing going into this week, and I will see you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.